Popular Stargate actor Colin Cunningham has come out and said Stargate can never happen. Is he right? And why? Welcome to SciTrek Daily, your daily dose of SciTrek TV, movie, news and rumours.
Nothing is ever actually said. Nobody learns anything. And it's inauthentic crap.
So it was about a week ago, actually, and I recorded a video. I was walking on the beach in North Wales, and I recorded a video that was basically me, off the top of my head, sort of talking about why I was actually a little bit nervous about the Stargate reboot we're hearing so many rumours about. I basically said, Hollywood don't seem to make TV shows like SG1 anymore. Now, I know a lot of people are going to shout, woke, go broke. Now, if you are regular SciTrek, you'll know I hate that term. I hate it. But the people that are thoughtful about these things, not the racists and the bigots that have jumped on board the wokeism thing, the actual people that are thoughtful about it kind of have a point. And Colin Cunningham agrees with them, even though, in his credit, never used the word woke once in a recent interview for SciTrek with our young Harris.
And they were just saying, like, when will Stargate ever come back? Will Stargate ever come back? And there's rumors that it might come back. And
we've been talking about them.
Well, it's funny, and I won't say who it was, but he looked at me and we both knew. And it was like, look, I hope it does, but the fact is, it's not.
You can check out the link in the description for the full interview.
And if you want an explanation as to why, certainly not in the form that you recognize, ask yourself the question, would Stargate SG1 be made today as you know it?
There's a really simple answer for that.
Not a hope in hell, man.
No.
Not a hope in hell.
I agree with Colin. Hollywood is different now. It is run by bureaucrats instead of artists. It used to be a place, a melting pot for talented people to come together and create something. Now it seems to be a place where people come together and then get the crap kicked out of them by boffins with notepads and pencils. Now, we're used to that in, the rest of the real world because, boffins at human resources and things have been destroying our lives in normal jobs for years. But they've taken over Hollywood as well. And everything has to be a box-ticking exercise.
Man. And it was this wonderful, colorful, eclectic group of artists that got together because they had to, because they didn't fit in school. And so they had to learn comedy. They had to learn how to be funny. Otherwise, they'd get their friggin' nose bashed in at the end of the day. You had to talk your way out of situations. So you became a writer. You became a sketch artist. You read graphic novels and comic books, and it was just this wonderful place being on set, and it was this open, creative space of artists and eclectics and creatives, and that's gone.
Legal, getting involved in art is a huge concern. Now, Colin mentions that sometimes it's for a good reason, because you don't want all of a sudden there to be a big drama when it turns out that you are a Scientologist or a Nazi or something after a big movie that cost $300 million to come out has been released. So I do understand why legal would maybe want to take a look at people. Now, if you're a regular SciTrekker, you'll know again that I do have sources in and around Hollywood, and a lot of those sources actually do come from the legal side of things. The very first source that ever spoke to us here at SciTrek was actually an entertainment lawyer, and he has been able to give us lots of contacts elsewhere. I think 10 or 15 years ago, those legal sort of sources and that insight wouldn't have really been very helpful for a channel like this. But today it is, because they know everything. Before, legal would have been brought in if there was a problem or to sign a contract. Whereas now, they're brought in to sign everything off. They want to actually make sure that there's no blowback from a certain actor or actress or something else coming into a role, that they didn't say something in Twitter 10 years ago when they were, younger and maybe a little bit more naive, that could blow up and become a big problem. We've seen it happen too many times, and now studios are actually turning to the legal department to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, how many Twitter followers have you got?
Yeah.
Okay, or Instagram followers have you got? Then it jumped the shark again, and it wasn't how many have you got. Well, look, I'll tell you a story. So I'm up for a gig. It was a good gig, and normally, casting director, and the director likes you, you're hired. If it's a bigger job, the producers have to sign off on you.
Okay.
This one, great, done. And they said, nope, this is a big job, so it had to go to the network. Great, so it goes to the network. You've been approved, done. Yes, got it. No. So what do you mean no? That's it. There's no hire. And they said, no, there is. It's got to go through legal. And I'm like, what do you mean it has to go through legal? What do you mean legal? Basically now what they do is they go through your Instagram account, right? And they want to see, are you wearing a red hat? Are you holding a Bud Light? What kind of liability is this person? Right?
Yeah.
Colin is talking about, though, here as well, that because Hollywood has changed, it does mean we're never going to get Stargate like SG1 again.
Ethics and doing the right thing and merit and being really good at what you do and the pursuit of dude, there's no way in hell that will ever happen. And that's why it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Now, I'll disagree with Colin here a little bit because I actually think Stargate and SG1 can return and it can look like something like what we're used to. I'll also say, though, that the reason why it hasn't happened, or a big reason why it hasn't happened, there's, studio space and all loads of other things, but one of the reasons why it hasn't happened that I've heard from day one is that Amazon were very worried about something like the Ring of Power effect. They know that doing a reboot has massive risks and you need to do it right. Let's not forget, though, as well, that Amazon do shows like The Boys, which even though there is layers of politics going on there, they're not afraid to do something that is a little bit shocking. But any show now that gets made basically has to be diverse. When the Warner Brothers put out their casting call for Harry Potter, almost the first thing it said was, we're trying to find a diverse cast for this show. And that annoyed J.K. Rowling a lot. So when they talk about these things, like on day one, that is the first thing they mention. I remember actually Chris Carter said virtually the same thing when he was announcing a possibility of an X-Files reboot, that it would be a diverse cast. When it's the first thing that you're thinking about, that doesn't suggest that you are wanting to be diverse and wanting to, make sure that your cast reflects society. It suggests that there's an agenda. And it suggests that actually that agenda is more important than the storytelling. The Harry Potter example is really quite good because those characters were described in great detail over all of those books. But Warner Brothers are quite happy to change a lot of those details to fit in with the diversity agenda. That is when I have a problem with a lot of what's going on in Hollywood at the moment, because Hollywood have got so afraid of upsetting anyone that they actually ended up upsetting everyone because they create crap.
Now, you have to sit there in fear of what you're going to say, and I have to sit here in fear of how I'm going to answer. And therefore, you come off as fake as fuck, and I come off as fake as fuck.
I kind of understand his point as well about the core principles of Stargate, but I'd also add as well that Stargate was a little bit eclectic in the way it moved forwards with the show. Yes, it was a sci-fi, but yes, it was also funny at times. Yes, it was also a drama. Yes, there was a romance element, blah, blah, blah. I feel like a lot of TV nowadays has to fit in a box more than SG1 did. I feel a lot of TV shows now also, unless they win an award, the networks aren't happy. So they're always striving to do that, to, you know, get an Oscar, get a Grammy, get a whatever. And if they don't, they're considered a failure. Now, I know Netflix has been trying to do this for years because they want to be considered a grown-up, serious, you know, network provider. But, you know, they've maybe failed at times. And I can think of a million examples of when TV shows that were really good have been cancelled by Netflix. And you have to wonder how much of it was because either didn't immediately get the viewing figures that they demand, but also because it maybe didn't have the impact with the critics that they wanted. When the hell did we start listening to critics, by the way?
Pro-military, pro-America, patriotic, white, cisgendered lead. You know, you're talking about branching out into the universe and adventure and space, and that's boom. No, that's Elon Musk, Donald Trump crap, man. We can't be doing that. What is this? Isn't a commercial.
But a TV show that is actually pro-military is a little bit of a problem right now. A TV show that is pro sort of exploring space is a bit of a problem right now as well, because Hollywood is dead set against Trump and Trumpism and MAGA. The rest of America might not be, but Hollywood is. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to produce a TV show that actually people that voted for Trump might quite like, without sort of referencing it. Politically, the world is in a slightly different position right now as well. And, you know, again, I think this being pro-military is a really good point. And actually, having a show that is not just pro-military, but puts all its trust in the military, and that the military in this case is actually a positive influence, might be a little bit difficult for the regular viewer to actually swallow. It might even be pointed at and said that it's, you know, propaganda. So I think Colin has a point. There are some fundamental elements of Stargate that might actually be a problem if they did it in its original format. There's the problem, and there's what I'm scared of. There are ways you can do Stargate to fit in with that, you know, maybe anti-military, anti-politics sort of agenda, and that Hollywood could try to make a point with the show, rather than just making the show. I actually think Colin has got a damn good point there. And it is the main thing I'm worried about with Stargate. Yes, people will probably shout woke at it. And I don't worry about that. I worry about the agenda. I worry about them trying to make a point with a TV show rather than just making a good damn show.
When you look at what they've done with Star Wars, you look at what they've done with this, that, and the other thing, it's like these are $100 billion franchises, and they flush them right down the toilet.
And they better not do that with our Stargate, because it's the sleeping giant of sci-fi. And you can...
Please go and check out the full interview, because Colin does not hold back. He tells you exactly what he thinks of Hollywood in no small degree. And if you can't understand why Hollywood is the way it is at the moment, I think Colin will explain it to you pretty damn well. But be warned, there's some colourful language that I actually found very funny. Go check out the interview, it's in the description. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. You'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek and get to see videos like this first. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.